Hi guys, hope you have followed my series where I just wanted to make it clear that how you will understand the various aspects of the solar PV plant model development in PSSE. I hope you have gone through the series 1 by 10 and 2 by 10, and now this is the third one, and I'm little bit sorry because I could not find time to record this one, so I'm little bit delayed. But from now on, I will just try to keep my promise, and I will carry on with the series at least once in a week. Okay, now there are several models. If you have gone through my first series 1 of 10 and 2 of 10, then you might have seen that there are several models. And the first model we will discuss today is the REGCA, that is the generic inverter model. And the generic inverter model, the main thing is that you have to set the parameters. Parameterization is one of the important aspects. Now here you will see that some of the colors I have chosen are black and some of the colors are green. Why I have chosen that one specifically to make you understand the difference, what is the default parameters and what parameters we need to set. You can see that the highlighted colors in green, those parameters you need to set based on the requirement of the grid code, and the black parameters colors in black color, those are you need not to set that much because these are almost by default parameters. Okay, so like this one TFLTR, that is the filter time constant. This is the default parameter. You need not to choose this parameter. Okay. Now this is the second parameter, that is LVPL1. That is the most important parameter. You can see if you have gone through various grid codes of various countries, you will see there is a provision in the grid code to set the K factor, that is based on what, that at the time of the fault current, whenever there is a fault at the POC, so this will give the contribution to the grid, the reactive current. The amount of reactive current to be contributed to the grid when there is a fault at the PV plant is guided by this one. So this is very important parameter. And in various countries and various grid codes, it varies from say range from 0 to 4. Okay. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So now here we have chosen that, sorry, we have chosen that K is equal to 2. So this is very important parameter. The third parameter is the zero crossing, and the fourth parameter is the LBPL, means low voltage power level logic breakpoint. So this is the zero crossing, means at what point of beyond, means up to what point at the terminal voltage at the inverter it can withstand. So here it is set as 0.15, and from where it will go to the normal range back, means LVRT mode will start from here, in this case 0.15 per unit voltage, and it will end at 0.9 per unit voltage. I think it is clear to you now. The next thing, the most important parameter is the active power current, active current ramp up limit on voltage recovery. So this is the ramp up limit after voltage recovery. If you have gone through any of the grid codes, then you will find that if there is any fault and say it has withstood for various voltage levels for various seconds. So suppose if it is withstanding for 3 seconds, then after 3 seconds it will go back again to the normal range. So in terms of its active reactive power capability as well as in terms of its voltage, terminal voltage, it will go back to the normal range. So that is the setting it has been given, and this 1.25, so it will ramp up to that pre-fault value with that 1.25 per unit per second. That active current will ramp up in this rate. So this is basically a rate at which the active current will ramp up. Okay. But here, if we are LVRT in this case, as this, it depends on which case you are operating. If you are operating for any normal set point control through power point controller PPC that we call. So in that case it will not function, it has no function. Okay, but in case of any fault, it will function. Okay. The next thing is the VO limit, that is the voltage limit for high voltage clamp logic. So that is the point. It is also supported through grid codes. So at 1.3 per unit voltage, if you see, so as per the Indian system, you can see that 1.3 per unit voltage it can withstand. So that is the voltage limit, and if the voltage at the inverter terminal goes beyond 1.3 per unit, so there will be some tripping. So in certain millisecond it will trip. Okay, I'll go to the next slide. Yeah, here also you can see there are certain parameters are highlighted in green. So those parameters you basically need to set. Okay, and here these LVPNT0 and LVPNT1, these are basically low voltage active current management and reactive current management breakpoints. In the last slide that we discussed, that at what point at the inverter terminal, the inverter will start reacting, means responding to the grid. So if the voltage at the inverter terminal is 0.15, it will start responding, and here also 0.8, it will start responding. So there are various set points in the grid code, so it is given like that way. So that's why we have to set like this way. So in the grid code, if something is given that you have to withstand 0.8 per unit voltage for 3 seconds, then you have to set that LVPNT1 as 0.8. If in the grid code it is saying that it is given that you have to withstand 0.15 per unit for 300 milliseconds, then you have to set like 0.15 as this LVPNT0 is equal to 0.15. In some of the grid codes you can find that they want the injection, means response from the inverter from the very beginning, so means that 0 per unit voltage. So in that case it will not be 0.15, it will be 0. So likewise, you have to set these parameters. And the ultimate in the previous slide, that whatever already discussed, that it is at what point it will stop injecting, that is the normal voltage range of the inverter terminal, or at the as per the requirement of the grid code, or at the per the requirement of the power purchase agreement, whatever it is. So at 0.9 per unit, it will stop injecting. And other two parameters, that is the IRQ max and IRQ min, those are basically the maximum rate of change of reactive current and minimum rate of change of reactive current. So in the last slide we have seen that it is the active current, and similar fashion it is the reactive current. So it is also spelled out in the grid codes at maximum what rate it will inject the reactive current after any fault occurrence. So basically for that thing we have to calculate, and accordingly we have to select this one. I hope you have enjoyed this one, and if you have any clarification, you can contact me through my WhatsApp. In my WhatsApp number, this is 85840 62890. Okay, thank you. Bye bye.